Hi, it's Miss Welsh again. We are going to be learning about colors, watercolors, and the color wheels today. So this is a great opportunity to go over those items. So I want you to see first we have these nice watercolors. As you can see, I already used them, but they're clean. There is no weird colors in them or anything else. They're pretty darn pure. Okay, we have a special brush. It is a watercolor brush. Just so you know, um, it's made out of special hair. So these are kinds of things you want to look for when you're using watercolor brush. And I do also have a container with water in it. Okay, so we never leave our brush to sit in the water because it causes the bristles to fall out. And whenever we put it back in here, we are going to make sure it's clean. Okay, that's very, very important. So I'm going to put that off to the side. So the first thing we need to do is we are going to create a color wheel. So my first name, my last name, and my teacher number is on the back of my paper already. So I am going to go through and make two curved lines, one curved line, two curved lines. Okay? So I know it's not a perfect wheel. We don't have a lot of paper. We don't have big paper. So this is what we're going to be doing. Okay? So I've done that. So my next step is to make the dividing lines for the color wheel. So we do have three primary colors. Okay. So I need to make a line that comes down about that far, and then this is kind of going to sort of look like a peace sign. Okay. So we have three primary colors. Those colors are blue, red, and yellow. Blue, red, and yellow are my primary colors. But there's other colors out there as well. So we do need to make room for those. So I am going to add extra lines. So I need to divide this part of the circle in half, this part of the circle in half, and this part of the circle in half. Okay, you should be using pencil. I'm using a marker so you can see it better on the camera. Okay, so I've already done that right here with this paper. Okay, I need to think before I do. So this is why I'm showing the video, and you also have the video to go back for. Okay, we have 6 colors we need to worry about. Those colors are red, orange, yellow, green, blue. And the last one is purple, sometimes called violet. Okay? Now, the reason these colors are set up this way is a certain reason. Okay? Some people say, oh, it's the color of the rainbows. Well, the color of the rainbows goes in a certain order, so you need to be mindful of that. Okay? You need to keep that in your head. Okay? So, we're going to flip forward, and we already have like our color set up. So we're going to practice using our watercolors and our watercolor brush, creating a color wheel. Okay, so I'm going to dip my brush in the water, and I'm going to choose red. Okay, so I dipped the brush in the water, and then I dipped it in red. I swirled it around a little bit, and as you can see, I am kind of sort of painting as if I'm using a pencil. Okay. So that we have these nice straight lines going. And I'm staying inside the lines. Now, if you notice, it's dark here and it's lighter here. There's a reason for that, okay? I didn't have as much water in my red on the palette. That's that white thing, the white thing that holds the colors. It's called palette. but I added more water and I got a lighter red. So if you want like a really strong, intense red, don't add so much water. If you want a light, wishy-washy red, add like a lot of water to that. Okay. Rinse in between each color because we don't want our colors to get yucky or polluted. We want to keep them nice and clean. Okay. Now I'm going to start on orange. Staying inside my lines. Just going back and forth. Okay, see how it's starting to get kind of scratchy and everything? Okay, that means the brush is running out of water or the paint is running out of water. Okay, so I'm going to add some more water to my brush and more water to my pan. Sprinkle it around. Okay, fill it in, 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 fill it in. Okay, so as you can see, the orange has gotten darker because there's less water that was in the pan. There was more water before. Now, if we were to let this dry, you could always go back and add more color to where it was to re-intensify it. The problem is you need to wait for it to dry. Okay, if you use nice thin layers, it dries quickly. If it's super duper wet, it takes forever to dry. So that's something you have to keep in mind. Okay, the next color we're going to work on is yellow. Okay, this is a very nice bright yellow. Now, as you can see, I'm not pushing on my brush like this so that the bristles, I can't even do it. The bristles, you don't want to ever make the bristles do that, okay? You want to keep them nice. You want to keep it the pointy point. Okay, see how nice and pointy it is? I'm really trying to keep that nice and pointy, okay? My next color is green. I'm going to try to fill everything in. And if you see, look, I'm like going in two different directions when I paint it. I went one way and then I come back and do another way. That can create some cool effects. My next color is blue, which is my favorite color. It's a nice, intense blue. Now, if you ever get like a color that's too dark on there, you can always re-dip your brush, move some color around. See how it's nice and light now? That's a technique you could try. Okay, but you have to be careful because look how it's bleeding into another color. Okay, so you've got to be super duper careful. You use the tip of your brush. You could do lots of detail work. I'm painting, I'm pressing very, very lightly. So I'll show you this over here by itself so you can see it better. Very, very light pressure. Okay. My last color is purple. That's a basic color wheel. Nothing spectacular about that. Okay. Now, red, blue, and yellow are our primary colors. They're used to make other colors. Okay, so that's something also I want to show you because what happens if we run out of orange or green or purple? You need to know how to make colors. Okay, so I made this up for you. Okay, this is just for an example. Okay, so the first thing I am going to do is, do you see where it says blue? Okay, I'm going to just go through and fill in blue wherever it says blue. Okay, But I'm also going to look. I have blue plus yellow equals green. So over here, I'm going to put blue as well. There's a reason I'm doing this. Okay, make sure you're watching. Okay, blue plus red equals purple. Okay. Now I'm going to rinse, 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 rinse. Okay, now I'm going to get yellow. Okay, and I'm going to put yellow where it goes. We got yellow down here. Okay. So blue plus yellow equals green, right? So if we go over top of it like that, with yellow, it makes green. Yay! Okay, now I'm not going to go down here and put this where the orange is. Okay, I'm going to rinse my brush out because we want nice clean brushes. But we need to fill in our reds, so let's go fill in our reds a while. Okay, so blue plus red equals purple. So let's see what happens when I add this to the blue over here. Look at that, it makes purple. Isn't it cool? And depending on how much blue or how much red you add, it's going to end up being a different purple. If you have too much red, it's going to be a reddish purple. If you have too much blue, it's going to be a bluish purple. Okay? I got my last one. So remember, we put down the lighter color first, which was my yellow. Rinse, 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 rinse. Pick up some red. And that is going to change to orange. So that's really super duper cool. Okay, so you don't need a whole bunch of colors in order to do watercolor paint. Okay, so I finished that and I rinsed out my brush. Okay. I'm going to gently pick this up and move it somewhere else so that we can look at it. Now, we do have some other things we need to look at, okay? So whenever a color is right across from itself on the color wheel, so I have purple and yellow, red and green, blue and orange. These are all complementary colors. And we're going to see what happens when we use complementary colors together. So it's kind of like when we did those other colors. So we're going to go through and put all the colors where they should go. Let's start with the lighter colors first. So I'm going to put yellow here and yellow here. Rinse, 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 rinse. I'm going to go orange, orange, and orange. Rinse, 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 rinse. Okay, green. Green. Okay. Now comes the fun part. Okay. Purple. Okay, watch the yellow. It's no longer purple and it's not yellow. It's not black. It's actually kind of a brownie color. It's gray. We call this a gray. When two complementary colors come together, they call it a gray. Okay. Now we have blue. Okay, so we have the orange already down. And this will make a different kind of gray. And our next one is red. Okay, and this makes a different kind of quote unquote gray. They really do look brown, just so you know, so close up. And I'll bring this around when we have our classes so you can see what happens. So sometimes you need to be really super careful when you're putting different colors down, to be careful to keep the complementary colors apart from each other because you want nice, crisp colors. Okay. Now we also have something called warm colors and cool colors. So I want you to think of fire. Okay, the kinds of colors we see in fire, okay, are going to be our reds, our orange, and our yellow. So these are all my warm colors, warm. So think of fire, so fire. So like fire, like roasting marshmallows, fire, fire like fireplace. Okay, there's some logs for you. Okay, and this side is the cool colors. Cool colors. Okay, so think of an ice cube or snowflakes. Okay, so keep those in mind. We have warm colors and cool colors. For some of the projects, I'm going to ask you to, hey, you need to do this, but you need to use only warm colors, and you need to only use cool colors, something along those lines. Okay. Now, the last thing I'm going to teach you is how to do value watercolor. Okay. So, value watercolor, we're just going to pick one color. And this kind of plays into what we were talking about before, where the more water, the less paint, the lighter it is, and the less water and more paint there is, the darker it's going to be. Okay, so we can start with a dark color. Okay. And I rinsed out my brush. We can do this. We can drag the color up. Okay, and I'm going to add more water to rinse my brush again. Drag the color up. Drag it, drag it, drag it, drag it. Okay. This is really great for when you're trying to blend, show shadows, things like that. Okay. It's easier to add more water sometimes than it is to add more paint, because sometimes you're just going to keep adding paint and nothing's going to happen. Okay, so I just re-dipped my brush in the paint this time, and I'm starting to spread it up. So there's different ways when you're working with different kinds of paints to show transition. Sometimes you're going to add more medium, like more paint, actual paint. You're going to add more water. You're going to add less water, things like that. So now I have several levels of colors. So I can actually make more if I wanted to make more by dragging a little bit more up. Okay, so that makes it really easy for when I'm doing shadow and shading and things like that. Always, 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 like I told you before, rinse the brush out. Now, I've been showing you guys like me taking the brush, putting it between my fingers like this and gently pulling. I'm not actually grabbing the brush. I'm just putting my fingers together like that. So it makes like a little triangle kind of area between all three fingers and pulling so that it stays nice and straight. When I do that, I'm going to put it back in with the paints. So this white thing's called a palette. Okay. I don't want you mixing in this area. We're going to get you stuff to mix with when you go to mix colors in case you want to make a more reddish purple or more blue purple or something like that. We will have stuff for you to do that so that it's easier for you to mix things. Don't mix in here. Don't mix on here. Okay, very important. Never mix here because once you like screw up a color, it stays that way. It doesn't go back. At least it doesn't go back very easily. Okay, so make sure you review this video so you can see some of the do's and the don'ts. And the thing with the pressure with the brushes is really important because sometimes you need to get in those nooks and crannies, and the harder you press a brush, the harder it is for you to get in those nooks and crannies. Okay, so this has been Miss Welsh, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day.